Welcome to the lecture on omega fats essential for life and health from the Natural Healing Center. What are omega fats? The body can synthesize most of the fats it needs from the diet. However, two essential fatty acids, linolenic and linoleic acid, cannot be synthesized in the body and must be obtained from food. These basic fats found in plant foods are used to build specialized fats called omega-3 and omega-6 acids. Fatty acids. Omega-3 and 6 fatty acids are important in the normal functioning of all tissues of the body. You should recognize. On the left we have flax, salmon, kale, walnuts, sardines, and olive oil. On the right, omega-6 fatty acids are in the processed foods and in the processed oils. Essential fat deficiency is pretty easy to get. You know, your dry skin, cracked and peeling fingertips, cracked heels, dandruff, anything that hurts when it's skin splitting or brittle. And a real clue is when your eyes are dry or any mucous membrane is dry. And if you get really dry, your nose bleeds. So a lot of times people have nosebleeds because they don't have enough fatty acids. So stiff and painful joints, you can read them all, but those are really interesting. A lot of people with eczema have eczema to start with because of allergies and a lack of fats. Here's a good list of omega-3, omega-6 oils. The modern oils that have proliferated since the Framingham Heart Study and the low saturated fat are devoid of omega-3 fats and very high in omega-6. Omega-6, omega-3 ratio, anthropological research suggests that our hunter-gatherer ancestors consumed omega-6 and omega-3 fats in a ratio of roughly 1 to 1. It also indicates that both ancient and modern hunter-gatherers were free of the modern inflammatory diseases like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, that are the primary causes of death and morbidity today. 25 to 1 omega-6 to omega-3. Isn't that interesting? This is out of balance ratio is pro-inflammatory. So if you can see on the right, the inflammatory foods are processed. And you see on the left, they're not so processed. It has caused much more than just heart disease. It is responsible for the majority of inflammatory diseases such as cancer, arthritis, Alzheimer's, kidney disease, and many more. Framingham fiasco. A long time ago, in the middle of a war, the Framingham Heart Study wrongly accused cholesterol as being the cause of heart disease. Saturated fats were demonized. New vegetable oils were developed in order to be healthy, quote unquote. Margarines developed to take over for butter, and the bane to our existence. There can only be one. Omega-3s and omega-6s are in direct competition with each other for the same enzymes, and only one will win out. That is the one that is higher in amounts in the diet. It's like choose which one you feed, right? It's not nice to fool Mother Nature. This was an ad from a long time ago. Hydrogenated oils that should be liquid at room temperature. Hydrogenation produces trans fats. Margarine eaters have 20% or more of cell membranes made up of trans fats. What this is interesting is that this is really the truth, is that they took a hydrogen atom and split it. They split the hydrogen atom, and that's why our bodies do not process margarine. They don't know what to do with it. I've met people that actually are pretty high on the soapbox about this. They believe that every fat in your belly and every fat that you can't get rid of is a hydrogenated fat, such as what you would get in the margarine, in all of the foods you saw on the right. And at that time, they believed that they were making margarine. They thought that they were making a healthier fat. But what they didn't realize is that our bodies don't recognize machine-made things. Our bodies don't recognize the hydrogen atom cut. So we don't process it. It just stays on our bodies. until we burn it off at high temperatures. So in the middle of the summer is when we can get rid of these nasty things. And a lot of people get sick in the middle of the summer doing just that. Trans fat, another word for hydrogenated fats. And it's really tricky what they're going to do about the label, so that's why we're talking to you tonight. Increased inflammation, they increase inflammation. It's just wild to think that you can take French fries and have swollen ankles the next day. It just doesn't seem right, and it's not. Increased LDLs and oxidation of LDLs. Trans fats damage cell membranes. Trans fats are absorbed into your cell membrane where your healthy essential fats should be integrated. Once in your cell membrane, trans fats cannot be replaced. That's what I was just talking about, how it's really difficult to get rid of them. So, trans fats are irresistibly disrupt the cell membrane function and communication with other cells. So it's interesting. You can actually do a cleanse where you add good fats to get rid of the bad fats. That's also another story. Zero trans fats equals BS. The current law says the food industry can label products such as zero trans fats or no trans fats as long as the trans fats are less than 0.5 grams per serving. So they're lying. So the industry has chosen to limit their serving sizes or shrunk their products. So just to be clear, that was hydrogenated fats. Inflammation is good. Now this is interesting. Stay with me on this. Nobody likes inflammation, and I know disease is all caused by inflammation, but this is the normal inflammation cycle. You have the start of it is cell damage, such as poking your finger with the rose bush. The damaged cell signals inflammatory. We're just going to say inflammatory chemicals are released. Inflammation begins. White blood cells are attracted to the injury, which helps them heal. The white blood cells release their chemicals. The healing and repair process kills the problems and makes it great. Cell signals anti-inflammatory. The cell signals the anti-inflammatory chemicals when to stop because it's healing. The inflammation ends and we're done. This is a normal inflammation cycle. It's an acute inflammation cycle. It comes on fast, strong, and it's done in a few days. You know what it's like to just puncture your finger. It hurts really badly, but it does heal automatically, and that's how your body is supposed to act. Next, this is where it goes wrong. Because we don't have enough omega-3 fats, so that would be your flaxseed, your salmon, your olive oil, your good, honest-to-goodness, healthy fats, the inflammation does not stop. The cycle does not stop. Look at this picture of chronic inflammation. So there's no really beginning and ending. It starts with cell damage. It goes through the same signaling, and the inflammation begins. The white blood cells are attracted. But then when it comes to the healing and repair process, because we don't have enough omega-3s, the inflammation continues. And there is the sad part about it. And it's pretty common knowledge in the natural medicine world, thank you, Dr. Andrew Weil, that chronic inflammation may be the root of all degenerative diseases. And let me back that up with heart disease is an inflamed heart. Spleen disease is an inflamed spleen, which is also lupus. And muscle disease is inflamed muscles. Eye disease starts with an inflamed eye. And when you have inflammation, things break. And if you think about inflammation as I like to think of the engine running really hot because we have some wild traffic jams and we overheat going up the hills with our cars sometimes. And the overheating inflames the engine. It swells the engine, and then the hoses to the engine don't fit anymore, and people will blow a hose, blow a gasket because it's inflamed. That's what our body's doing with inflammation too. Omega-3 deficiency, we just talked about it. Approximately 99% of Americans are deficient in omega-3s. Why are Americans deficient? Well, the omega-3 deficiency is the sixth biggest killer of Americans, according to a new study in the U.S. News and World Report. Harvard University researchers looked at 12 dietary, lifestyle, and metabolic risk factors such as tobacco smoking and high blood pressure to determine how many fatalities could have been prevented if better practices had been observed. It's like I had marbles in my mouth. That's so cute. The study determined that there were 72 to 96,000 preventable deaths each year due to omega-3 deficiency. Omega-3 foods. Here's a great list. Oh, isn't that funny? Flax seeds at the top, and I love those crackers I make. Walnuts are high up there. Look at sardines. Lovely. Salmon, soybeans, halibut, scallops. I love them. Shrimp. Tofu, I'm not a fan, but look at that. It's still down there at 15%. And tuna is at 13%. So those are the good fats. Now let's look at the dairy. Conventional dairy farms use antibiotics, growth hormones, and other medications. Conventional dairy cows eat corn silage, which is chopped up from fermented corn and often soy. Silage. I have a farm specialist with me today. Thank you, thank you. So it's called corn silage. Well, it's trash to me anyway. So organic dairy is what we really want to focus on. Free-range grass-fed. When they chew the cud with that grass, we get our omega-3s. That's what the bottom line of this whole thing is. Omega-3s, cow's milk has more omega-3s. I'm not a fan of the cow's milk. Once it's pasteurized, forget it. So you want to have raw organic cow milk, we're in. Then you get your calcium. Conventional ranching. Antibiotics, growth hormones, and other medications. Listen to this. This is eyebrow raising. No dietary levels of hormones are safe, and a dime-sized piece of meat contains billions of hormone molecules. Wow. Cancer Prevention Coalition 2005 includes beef, pork, lamb, chicken, turkey, and farm-raised fish. Fed grains, not their natural diet of grasses. Conventional dairy cows eat corn silage. And who knew it was fermented corn? Okay. Organic ranching, on the other hand, the cows eat free range, and that means grass-fed. And the meats have omega-3s. Why the omega-3 deficiency? Cattle usually spend about 3 to 6 months in a feedlot, during which time they will gain between 2 and 4 pounds per day. Note that the omega-3s are severely diminished by 2 months, nearly absent in less than 4 months. This is because they are being switched from grass-fed to using grains and the special corn silage. Hey, I know I'm being a little silly, but this is pretty serious. Conventional poultry. Antibiotics and other medications are administered when chickens crowd together indoors. The way conventional growers do, they're more likely to produce infectious bacteria. Conventional chicken feed is made from conventional grown protein and grain sources, and they may contain approved drugs, amino acids, and antibiotics. And what I didn't know was there's a lot of fish being fed to that. The fish, I don't mind the fish, but there's soy being fed to the conventional hens too. Organic poultry is a better use of our time and money. Free range, grass fed, cage free. One study found that the organic chicken contained 38% more heart healthy omega fatty acids. And another thing on this one is it's very, very interesting that most people are very interested in having their own hens. That's big rise, and a lot of my friends are, not just my friends in Alaska, but all around here, people are having their own hens. So it's beautiful. We have our own food. Well, there we go. Eggs, organic versus conventional. Compared to the official USDA nutrient data for commercial eggs, eggs from hens raised on free-range pasture contain 1/3 less cholesterol, 1/4 less saturated fat, 2/3 more vitamin A, 2 times more omega-3 fatty acids, 3 times more vitamin E, and 7 times more beta-carotene. Very impressive. And here we are with standard process. Thank God. Essential fatty acids. And this is what our list is. Tuna omega-3, cod liver oil, calamari omega-3, and I want you to think balanced omega-3, 6, and 9. Well, actually, it doesn't have 9. It's omega-3, 6, and PG3. Why I want you to see the standard process lineup here is because it is so exact. And standard process has been making these fats for a very long time, and they're just what everybody ever dreams of as far as nutrition. So the linum B6, the cataplex F, the skin, think skin, heart, and eventually PG3. Sesame seed oil, think bone marrow, immunity, and inhibiting arachidonic acid. That's the bad stuff. Black currant seed oil, evening primrose oil, think GLA, endocrine hormones, and PG1. Buying a good omega-3s, almost all omega-3 supplements are processed with heat to remove persistent organic pollutants such as mercury, dioxins, and DDT. Omega-3s are fragile, and the heat promotes rapid rancidity. If you ever burp up fish oils, then you have experienced rancid omega-3s. Hey, our workshop promotion is $50 off your nutritional examination with the booking of an appointment tonight. And since we're doing this on our webinar, you're welcome to call in after you've read through everything. And since you're already here, that means you have. So please call area code 714-549-4435. And if you're too far away, you can 877-95-DETOX it. There's a phone number. It's 877-95-DETOX. Thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to talking to you about this anytime you need to talk or ask questions. You're welcome to ask them on the phone or on our website at naturalhealingcenter.us. There you go, naturalhealingcenter.us. We would love to hear from you. Thank you. That's all.